You're with World Business Report on the BBC World Service. Now, the African Mining Indaba Conference 2025 has concluded in Cape Town, South Africa, with government officials and mining sector leaders discussing African mining investment and trying to address some of those challenges facing the sector right across the continent. Minerals that are essential for the global transition to green energy have been, as you might imagine, at the centre of all the discussions. These minerals include things like lithium, cobalt, nickel, copper. One company that is exploring this in Africa is Cobalt Metals. Bill Gates, the former Microsoft founder, billionaire philanthropist, who now backs this particular company, and its chief executive in Africa is Fikey Mackay, who joins us now from Cape Town. Fikey, thanks for being with us on World Business Report.
Thank you for having me.
The conference this week, then, it comes, of course, against the backdrop of everything that's going on in the DRC as well, doesn't it? That's kind of telling us about, I guess, the less salubrious side of the hunt for these key minerals. Was that kind of discussed, the security around what all of you guys are trying to do in terms of investment and working in some of these places?
Yeah, I think the Indaba's energy has continuously ramped up and lived up to its essence of being a mining Indaba, an important meeting of minds for those in the mineral space in terms of collaborations and negotiations. But it's also, particularly important for those who want to conduct business in Africa. And Africa is a centerpiece of the puzzle for future opportunities. There's massive underinvestment in exploration. So to make those first connections and have continued relationships, being at the Indaba is an important starting point.
What's been the sort of top thing when you've? It's always the most interesting bit in these. Oh, sorry, just lost you a little bit there. I was just going to say, one of the most interesting bits of all of these kind of events is the conversations away from the main conversations. What are you having with chats with colleagues? What are the kind of big issues at the moment for the industry, do you think?
Well, I think it's just important for governments, investors, financial institutions, and the civil to just align on industrialization objectives that include the energy transition and climate change.
Yeah, Fikey, we'll try one more again there because we're just struggling a little bit with your line. You're just coming in and out a tiny bit. Just try and re-emphasize what you guys are focusing at Cobalt on and what some of the conversations the big conversations that the Indaba have been.
Yeah, the important thing is the need for investors, private players, and governments, including civil society, tech innovators, and academia, to align on industrialization objectives, which include the energy transition and climate change. And we as Cobalt Metals are leading with that in technology and mineral exploration. So we met various forms of stakeholders mentioned above.
Yeah. And in terms of big focus, hasn't there, again, been on things, what we call term conflict minerals. And so I guess the ethics around all that. No one, we've spoken to you guys at Cobalt before, been a key part of what you do as a business. But can you just explain to people how you do that, how you sort of work that out, how you build that into your business processes?
Yeah, well, it's absolutely a fundamental ethic of the company for us to do business in places where we know we're held accountable, the governments are held accountable, and we respect the host communities. That's just key to doing things right anywhere in the world.
And how do you keep, there's been a lot of conversations, especially when we have leaders from sub-Saharan Africa, a lot of the countries that you're talking about here and where you guys work, about keeping some of the processes, the high quality ends of the jobs in some of those countries, the processing of these materials rather than just having it dug out and sent around the world. Are you working on some of those areas too?
Yes, I mean, we have a conversation with the head of state in Zambia where we have our fantastic Mingomba copper project. It's important that all the stakeholders are at the table, the regulators, the environmentalists, and ourselves, because environmental protection is one of our ethics as well. So it's not a muted conversation. It needs to be loud. We all need to be accountable to make sure we're doing the right thing.
Well, Fikey, thanks so much for speaking to us today, and thanks for bearing with us with a few tech gremlins there. Fikey Mackay there, the African CEO of the company Cobalt Metals, speaking to us from the mining Indaba in Cape Town, South Africa.